Hey you guys, and this isn't a catalog video. I'm sorry. I had something really exciting planned. As you know, I had a really exciting video planned for Friday for the ceiling fan demonstration. I also had a special catalog for this week, but the morons decided to send me the wrong one. So we initiated return and all that crap, and they haven't even, they said they would get back to us when they find the right one, and it's been a week and they haven't messaged us. I even messaged them again saying, hey, have you found it? And I haven't heard anything, so maybe it'll still happen, maybe it won't. Really sucks, because I can guarantee it's one most of you out there haven't seen. So, hope for me, I guess, because it'd be a really cool piece to the collection and something that you guys would love to see. So, hopefully that ends up working out, because I'm pretty cheesed that it hasn't yet. I was hoping I would have the correct one by now, but then they never did message back saying they found it, so I don't really know. Either way, the listing looked good. The only problem was somebody misread the titles and they sent me the wrong one, and I think they might have put the wrong titles. They flip-flopped them. So yeah, they really screwed up there, and at least I got refunded, but still, yeah, I want the catalog itself. I don't really give a crap about the money. But anyways, that out of the way, I don't have the catalog that I want to do the video of this week, and obviously I got a whole shelf, so what's the problem? The problem is that lighting is horrible out there. You could probably tell that just in this video that it looks a lot worse than they usually do. And yeah, that is because it's dark out, well, darker out anyways, and I'm not really in the mood to have a horrible looking video. Keep in mind, this always looks horrible anyways. It's like that split lighting, one side of my face is lit up, the other one isn't. There's just no real way I can do this too decent, so this is just what I live with. I'm just half in the shadows, I guess. But anyways, so I need something to talk about this week, and when I was recording my end of the year special, which is of course the industry year in review, I was talking about Savoy House, and I was basically saying, well, maybe I'll make a video talking about this. Maybe you guys will have seen it. And it's kind of like backtracking and flip-flopping back and forth with how I'm doing these, or I should say recording these. But I figured, yeah, I should actually hop on and do a video about this. So this is basically going to be a miniature timeline of Savoy House, and then where things went wrong and what I personally think that they need to do, because what they're doing now just isn't working. So let's jump right on into it. So Savoy, there now, as far as I can tell, the ties to this company have been around since, I want to say, the 40s or 50s. However, I think they started making lighting right around the late 90s, early 2000s. Now, it's possible that they had a different name before then and were still making lighting fixtures. Not too sure, but I believe the fans did start sometime around the late 90s, early 2000s. And I can tell based off of all the catalogs that I have here, a lot of them have like volumes on them, which is basically, what number catalog it is in the series of all the catalogs they made. And based off of when these ones say they're from and what the volume is, I can basically backtrack a volume each year and figure it out. So that is about when I believe they started. And towards the start, they made a lot of really good designs, lots of very heavily detailed and ornate designs. And of course, throughout the 2000s, a lot of the warmer designs were very popular. All the bronzes and the tea-stained glass and all of that. And that really carried on into the early 2010s before things started to change. But anyways, throughout the 2000s, they did that. They had many great designs, so many of which I absolutely love. And they just really did a good job. Then they had a decent builder lineup as well. Everything was good. At this point, it was, a good brand, good quality, and it's well-rounded with what they have in the line. And, everything was great. And then right around, I would say 2010, maybe 2009, somewhere around there, was when they started sort of moving away from a lot of the ornate and heavily tooled and detailed designs. And then they started doing a lot more, early 2010s transitional, and basically the stuff you would expect to see. And then some of the designs, they were still, more ornate or more detailed, but not as many of them. And now this is not really what I consider the start of the downfall yet, because these were all still amazing designs. And then throughout, I would say, until about 2013. So it didn't last very long, but all these really nice designs lasted till around then. And then they started discontinuing off tons of the older designs, and only a few of them really remained. And then by 2014, the traditional section used to be a huge hunk of the book. Well, it wasn't called traditional, but if it was in the book, it would have been a huge hunk of the catalog. Now it was down to literally 4 fans. So they really shifted. They shifted away from that, and then they moved to modern. So essentially a very similar thing to what Minka Air did, except Savoy did it very different. They had very different designs, essentially, is what I can think of describing it as. And then, yeah, right around then, I want to say it was either 2000, I think it might have been 2015, they introduced the sleep fans, which were their fancy, quiet fans that also could make cool white noise and stuff like that. I don't know, I almost bought one, but then I didn't. Kind of glad I didn't, because they're kind of chintzy. I don't know, still would have been cool to own one. Maybe if I find one someday, I'll buy one. But anyways, yeah, they had a few innovations like that, and then also in the late 2000s they introduced fandeliers, and then by around 2014-15 they introduced air ionizing fandeliers, which is basically some fancy bullcrap way of making it seem like making it seem better than they were, saying that they ionized the air and helped you, or for I don't know. They listed it in one of their catalogs, and there's just all this fancy science crap that I couldn't tell you a thing about. But anyways, then a couple years after, probably around 2017-18, they dropped that air ionizing part from the catalog. I guess someone called their bluff, because, I mean, I'd never really bought it anyways. If you want something that really does stuff with the particles in the air, you got to look at the germicidal fans and the UV fans that they introduced after the pandemic hit. But anyways, so all this was right around, 2015-16. And then it was really interesting how they did it. They had the 2015 catalog, and then they released 2 supplements, and then another catalog. At least that's how the catalog numbers show. But really, that's not how it went. Really, what they did was they had the 2015 catalog, and then they had the 2016 catalog, which was just way shorter and way smaller than the 2015. And then they did some supplements. So this was basically another sort of shift when they were changing things around again. And one thing was that right around 2014 and 15, their catalogs were an insane waste of space. For each finish of a fan model, it had its own page on some occasions, and that really just made it so thick. So that's why the catalog got so much thinner, and they didn't really introduce any new designs at all either. However, then in late 2016, they released a supplement. Actually, it was probably June 2016, but they released a supplement with some new designs. And here I could see some more modern designs come through. And then by 2017, there were tons of these really excellent looking modern designs. Some of them had a hint of brass in them, quite like what we see now. And I'm trying to think of some of the other good designs that they had. They had the Fairfax, which was really cool. It had a really thin housing with some discs on it, and then it had these bent wood blades on it. It was a really cool looking fan. I really liked it. And they had tons and tons of other really cool and really unique designs that I loved. The Wasp was another one I really liked. The Starling was also super cool. And then they also did introduce a few more fandeliers. But yeah, so this was still a good point. I still wouldn't consider this the downfall, because they still were introducing some really good and some really cool stuff. And then later on in 2017, they released a full catalog, and this, well, I think we all know what a full catalog is. It combines the supplements with what previously existed, and this was good. They had a nice visual index in there. It was laid out great. And then 2018, they introduced a supplement in January, once again with some pretty cool designs, quite a few of which I really liked. And then later on in 2018, they did a full catalog again. Once again, great, no complaints. And then 2019, this is when I consider to be the downfall of Savoy. This is when the fan line, I should say the downfall of the fan line. Savoy itself is still doing really good, but I'll get to that once we get to it. Anyways, so it was around this time when things started to shift. This year, they hardly introduced any new designs, and they went from about a 150, maybe 200 page catalog to like a 70 page one. So the catalog really shrunk. They discontinued a decent amount of products out of the catalog, and it was just a lot smaller. So this was, I was really shocked when that catalog came out. I was pretty disappointed in it. And then in 2020, all they did was introduce just the farmhouse collection, which is their take on the windmill designs that have been sweeping the industry. And that was literally all that we had. And then 2021, around the middle of the year, they introduced the final full ceiling fan catalog. Now, this I thought was going to be a turn for the better again with Savoy, because they gave the catalog a new layout. They introduced a few new products, and I just thought it looked really, really nice. However, I was pretty darn disappointed to find that that was not the case. That after that catalog, I still haven't seen anything else. And right around the same time, Savoy, like I'd say around 2020, 2021, they started introducing other lines. So not only was there Savoy lighting, but then there was the Essentials and also the Meridian collection. And the Meridian collection had some fans in it. There were like 2 or maybe 3 fans in the back of it, right around 2021 as well. And then there was also a supplement for some other fans that I don't know why the heck they didn't just put in the other catalog. That was another really confusing part that drives me crazy. There's so many catalogs and so many things that should be condensed down that aren't. It's just excessive, really. But anyways, then they shoved all those in the fan catalog. But then by 2022, maybe it was 23, then they introduced another Meridian catalog. And in this one, they stuffed all the fans in the back of it. They got rid of all of the model names for it. And then that's just basically how it was. They were all just nameless fans at the back of a catalog. However, the Fandeliers kept getting their own catalog. Only thing is, after 2021, they stopped printing the Fandelier catalog. And they don't showcase all the Fandeliers in the lighting catalog either. So, yeah, I really don't know what the heck they're doing. But yeah, this year they released another Fandelier catalog. As this year they released a bunch of new designs. However, they aren't printing it, so yeah, I don't really know where you can see these in a catalog. Really, I think what Savoy House needs to do, and now, yeah, this is where I'm going to start talking about what they need to do to change and fix this. They can keep the Fandelier separate, that's fine, but they really ought to print that catalog. However, what would be ideal is just to shove all the fans back in a catalog again, just like they've done before, or stuff it all in the back of Meridian, because what they're doing, they've just got so many catalogs. So if you've got somebody interested in fans and they really want Savoy, you got to whip out like 3 or 4 catalogs to show them everything. It's stupid. Because last year, when they put all the fans in the back of the Meridian catalog, there was also a Meridian fan supplement introduced at the same time. Why the hell didn't you just put those in the Meridian catalog? They're wasting paper. It's absolutely asinine. I don't understand what on earth they're doing, but it doesn't make any sense. Really, though, it's not even a fan company anymore. It's a lighting company with a small fan line that I don't even care about. The fan line to Savoy doesn't really matter besides the Fandeliers. So if I'm being honest, what I really think they need to do is they need to either start doing more with the fans again, or they just need to get rid of all the fans, except for the Fandeliers. Those can stay because they're at least maintaining that line, but they really should print that catalog. But as far as standard fans go, just like the basic ceiling fan, they really need to keep updating that line and make it more cohesive again, which I honestly don't think they're going to do, especially since now they've gotten rid of all the model names for them. They really just need to discontinue them all and get rid of them. It's clear that they don't really want to sell those and deal with them, so they just shouldn't anymore, really. It's just extra expenses on them, and I'm sure if they moved away from that, they would be saving a lot of money. And honestly, I don't know anybody who sells Savoy ceiling fans anymore. They were decent, they were always decent, but now there's like so few of them, and they're stuffed in the back of a lighting catalog, so nobody really talks about them or markets them. The last Savoy House fan that I sold was just an old stock fan that had been sitting in the showroom for a while. That was the last time, and that was also the only time I've ever witnessed one being actually sold. Just thinking about all the local stores around me, I don't really recall many Savoy fans being displayed besides a Fandelier or 2. So really, they didn't have a lot of displays up in a lot of places. I just feel like the fan line was always kind of under-marketed from Savoy and kind of underappreciated. And then now it's just basically non-existent. So really, I feel like they need to, get rid of the fans and just do fandeliers. That's what Quoizel does. You know, they just do fandeliers, and that does just fine for them, because I really don't think they're selling many standard fans anymore. So, you know, that's how times are going with some people. A lot of people still prefer the standard fan. However, some people don't. And it's honestly quite a shame, because Savoy actually has amazing designs. I love a lot of their lighting fixtures, and I loved a lot of the fans back in the day too. However, I just don't think we're really going to see much of that great execution that we could see anymore, which is a real shame. Now, I don't know how many of you people are even familiar with Savoy or know a lot about them, but yeah, I still wanted to make this video anyways, because I know a few of you guys probably do know about Savoy, and I just figured I would, you know, sort of discuss it, because if any of you guys do actually follow the brand, and as much as I would, then you guys would know that they haven't done much with their fans. And this is basically, you know, the explanation why. I've talked to the sales rep and to the company, and the sales rep has told me that they don't really seem to care about the fans, and he's also waiting for a new fan catalog. He also thinks they should just get rid of the fans, and Savoy's just told me that there's never any plans to print a catalog. So, you know, every time they release a new digital fan catalog, I'll call them and see what they say, but chances are it's going to be the same old thing. Anyways, that's really about all I had to mention here. I just thought that this would be kind of an interesting video here, since I don't really talk about Savoy too much. And now this way, when you guys do watch the end of the year special, in case you forget this video existed, then at least you'll, well, that did make sense. I don't know. My brain doesn't work anymore, ever. But anyways, hopefully maybe next week I'll have that catalog in, but there's absolutely no promises. Either way, I'm going to try on a nice sunny day to record some catalogs again, so I've got something to upload here. As you know, I kind of left a break in the Casablanca catalogs when I found that Progress catalog, and then obviously then I had this one coming, but it may not happen. So I'll just pick right back up with the 2000s Casablanca, and that should get me going for another few weeks here. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.